Good afternoon, everybody. So I am based here in Chicago. This is hometown of Abe's Market. So first I want to say welcome to Chi-Town, everybody. So glad we have all these visitors coming in to see us. And I hope while you're busy here with everything that you came here for, you take some time to venture out and explore Chicago. It's a great town. And we're finally a little bit seasonably warm as we get to today, because I know yesterday was nowhere close. So enjoy the city, get out and venture and find some new things. What I'd love to do, because I think my colleagues did a great job in explaining and demonstrating the omni-channel ecosystem and how you look at the singular view of the customer and how you collect your data and how you even analyze your data. But what we are as an online marketplace is affording us some additional opportunities or some unique opportunities as to how you can collect data. So I'd like to share a little bit about that and then talk about some expanded ways you can use that data to get even further into what views you have available on the customer and then how you can visualize and utilize the data that you collect. Okay, let me click here. So let me just give a little background on Abe's Market for those of you who may not know us. We are an online exclusively marketplace. We aggregate together natural and organic products across a variety of categories. And when we launched about 5 years ago, we launched at a crossroads of two very interesting business trajectories. One of them was the growth in online shopping, how many consumers were favoring online, how many consumers were going online for an expanded offering of products, but also the explosion in the natural products category. More and more companies innovating and creating products, but not necessarily always finding a home for their products. Either people not committing to the online space, or maybe finding just one aisle in a grocery store, or even if a place like Whole Foods was emerging in your market, it might not have been everywhere, right? Limited to just certain locations. So these wonderful innovations happening, but how were these products going to be found? Who was going to support them, and who was going to help these brands learn more about what consumers were favoring? So Abe's Market was founded on this principle that we wanted to help consumers find and discover these amazing products. We wanted to meet our base core mission, which is about natural to the people. We want to bring this natural product forth, but also help the brands grow and understand where their opportunities would come from. So that was our founding goals and principles. When I give you just a little visual here on our homepage, I hope you see a couple of things. I'm just going to call out a few features. Features not only because this is what a customer can see on our site and enjoy, but these are our data collection points. These are the ways that we can get deeper into not only where the customer is pathing, but what they're preferring and how we can start to put together that single view of the customer. So certainly we have promotional values. If we're going to have a percentage off, we're going to shout it. We're going to let customers know that there's a value to be had, even though we're not strictly a promotional site. We do product introductions, and you can see when Kind, as one brand, for example, introduces product, they see our marketplace as a core place to gain insights on the product, as well as extend the reach of the purchasing. But content engagement, and you certainly heard from HSN and others here today how important content is. We look at the pathing of content. So who comes in through a piece of content, such as a recipe, and then makes a purchase to the product, or who comes in through the product and maybe is a better repeat purchaser because of their engagement with the content of recipes and multiple ways to use the product. But we also launched something which I'm going to get into in the presentation, which is really an innovative piece of business, not just for us, but I believe for the industry, which is a trial opportunity, a way to go beyond what would normally be selling on your site and introduce new products for customers to try to deepen their engagement and deepen your insights. So really, there's a couple of areas here that my presentation is going to touch upon, so I hope you'll feel this at the end and you'll gain some insights from this. One is that expanded view. So when we think about how do you get an expanded view, how can you go beyond just knowing which products are being purchased, what categories, what brands, we do something, a tagging system. And every one of the products on our site is tagged for qualities. They're attributes for all intents and purposes, and they tie into everything from how the product is sourced, to ingredients in the product, to dietary lifestyles they meet, and it's one of the ways that we get very in-depth knowledge about the customer and what they're favoring. Talk more about that. The trial program for reach and insights, which I mentioned. But then at the end of the day, when you gather a bunch of data, big data can be overwhelming. I think we're all excited to be in this day and age when big data is what we talk about. It's what many of us are either striving towards or we have access to, but it can overwhelm. So how do you visualize it? How do you make it digestible? And how do you make it usable for all the constituents involved? So I talked about qualities, and for us, they are these attributes that we tag the products with. We've established over 220 on our site, and what's really exciting about these, as I mentioned, is they fall into different buckets. But these buckets operate in a continuum. They interact with each other. So when a customer is going in and sorting for something by qualities, they can go in and select multiple qualities that are of interest to them. By selecting multiple qualities, they're customizing their own experience, but they're also giving us insights as to how to better serve them up, whether in emails, whether on a homepage customization, what's most relevant to them. So what I did here is I'm showing you just one view which gives you, some of our top qualities where you can click down on those yellow buttons and see even more inside each of those main categories. But in the bigger box, I just zoomed in on a food categorization, right, qualities, and you can see I made a selection. Imagine I'm the customer and I checked those boxes. So I checked that I'm interested in organic, gluten-free, and vegan, okay? Might be a common combination, might not be. But if you went into a grocery store today, the merchant, the store manager, the person handling the planogram is going to have to determine where is that product found. And maybe they're going to give it a double facing. Maybe they're going to determine it's worthy of an end cap plus an inline position. But more than likely, it's determined for them. By being able to do this, we're customizing your aisle. And the customer is able to pick what matters to them and find their path to find the products that are of most interest. So based upon those 3 check marks, I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey as to what you would find on our site. So after you click, there's a little bit of an expanded view, okay, for anyone who can't see the tiny little pieces. When I click on those 3, I start to see down the left-hand side what amount of products come up that meet those 3 criteria in combination. So you'll see that there's food and drinks, and you'll start to see that there's a certain number of breakfast items, a certain number of tea, different things, right? And it'll tell you the quantities, so you know if there's really a robust assortment that meets your search criteria. But what I've done here is I've selected one product, because we're going to follow its journey a little bit and see what we can learn about this product and about the people who are buying it based upon these 3 selected criteria: gluten-free, organic, and vegan, right? So this breakfast cereal from Vigilant Eats comes up as a wonderful choice. So now when I go deeper and I say, okay, this meets those 3 criteria, so that's why it's served up for the customer. But what other qualities does this product have? When I look at this product, it has 28 qualities. So now I can start to surmise some other things about the intermingling of what could be of interest to consumers who also buy this product, maybe by searching for any one of these other number of qualities. We visualize the qualities for customers. It's one of the ways that helps them make all this information digestible. 228 qualities, 28 qualities on a product can be hard to look at if you don't put some visual icons associated with it. So we found that to be a best practice. But now that I'm looking and I see there's 28 qualities associated with this product, I want to now do one other search. And I want to say, okay, for the customer who's buying this product, what do I know about the customer? Our system collects all this data. So when a customer comes in and logs in, I'm able to learn a lot about this customer's demographics, geographics, past purchase behavior, and now I'm starting to see that this customer who favored for these 3 qualities on a product that had a total of 28 qualities has all of these demographic, geographic, attitudinal, psychographic characteristics. And this starts to paint a really nice picture for us off of what they're actually purchasing, or even what they're searching for. I'm following every click, benefit of online, right? And we love that we can do that. So now I start to say, okay, this customer shops for all these different things, picks up based upon all these qualities, but which ones are ranking the highest? So you can see with yellow arrows here, I highlighted the 3 qualities that we were charting for that one product. But what's interesting is those aren't necessarily the highest. They rank high, but which one's the highest? Is it GMO-free? People looking for that quality, this customer was looking for that the most. So I can say, wait a second, this is what interests you, so next time I'm going to market you that Vigilant Eats cereal, I'm also going to serve you up GMO-free products. So it's a really nice way to make sure the customer is getting products of relevancy, and boy, does that increase your conversion rates, right? It maximizes those visits on everybody coming to your site, and you can imagine this is usable for an omni-channel platform as well, and thinking about how you direct store traffic with these insights. But now we said, how do you expand that view? So everything I showed you, we can get at based upon what a customer views on the site or what a customer purchases on the site. And even though I have limitless aisles, I think there can be something called a too much choice problem if you go ahead and just load up your categories. Theoretically, I could carry millions of products in any category I want, but it's not a smart choice. So what we did is we developed a whole nother system, which is a trial program, where brands can tell us about products they want consumers to try, either because they're new to launch, they want to expand into different areas of the country, people haven't necessarily tried them, they want to get new customers behind them, and they want to gain insights. So every day at 10 o'clock Central, we have new products launched on our site that the customer gets to try for just $2. Great customer value proposition. They love it. The brands love it because every customer who tries our products provides feedback. And we tie all that feedback on the trial back to all those other insights I just showed you. We know what the customers bought other times. We know where they live. We know about their purchasing behavior. We know about number of people in their household, and on and on and on. Now we're marrying it with those products that they try if only given the opportunity, right? So this is just a visualization of we're telling the customer, be a tastemaker. Boy, do they love that. You mean brands want to hear from me? Brands want to know what I think? They want my view? That's pretty fantastic. And brands love that we can combine that with real purchase behavior. So these aren't people who might buy. These are people who have proven purchasers in your category now wanting to try your products. So when the customer comes in and makes a selection, one of a couple of things happen. If they've already made a selection of their preferences, which drives our email cadence, it also drives some of what we serve up and personalized on the site. Take a look at that little yellow box. They may have come in and checked some of those qualities. We may serve up an assortment that is very targeted for them. In this particular case, it's 3 flavors of a squeezed pouch of fruit. Really right for that customer. We know they're going to love it. We serve that up. But if we know more about you, we know you've got even a bigger profile, or we don't know about you and we want to put some test options in front of you, we may serve you an assortment like you see at the bottom. And here's the fun of Abe's Market product. We've got right there a lactation cookie for a nursing mother who wants to have a sweet treat with benefits. We've got a vegan condom. I don't know how many of you even know vegan condoms exist, but we have them in our trial program. We also have their ceremony tea, which is an amazing organic tea packaged in the most beautiful ways for anyone who wants a tea party or just a beautiful cup of tea themselves. And then Kickers blended fruit powders that super enhance your foods just by sprinkling on blended fruit. So these are the types of things that people get a chance to try. What happens then is we're creating a footprint or a fingerprint, right, of this customer, and we're getting a sense of how much do they make, where do they live, where else do they shop? We know about their purchasing behavior outside of Abe's Market as well as inside. But then we also get the how do they feel about that product. They feed us back information on efficacy, taste, nutrition, value, packaging, you name it. But what's really important is how do we get at this? Because some people can say, it's great, you're getting the feedback, but give me some real tips here. How do you do this? What we do is we track the packages. We know when the package has arrived in home. Depending on the product category, we give you 3 days, 8 days to try the product. We know it takes a little bit longer to try beauty than to try a snack product. We then send you a survey. This is an example of the survey that you see on the left. It's showing you that this is what a customer is going to receive. And we use NPS. Anyone who's familiar with Net Promoter Score knows an NPS system is a very simple system to answer. It's based on a scale of 1 to 10, likelihood to recommend. Well, in this case, we're going likelihood to feel good about trying this again, likelihood or how good did you feel the value was. So make it super easy to answer these questions. So easy, in fact, that our response rate in our surveys has been greater than 80% collective. Higher than I've ever seen on any surveys. We gold for over 30%, and to see over 80% just says we have an engaged audience and we've made it super easy to answer the questions. After those surveys are filled out, what you then see if you are a brand is what is on the right. We aggregate this data for the brands and we serve it back to them. They're thrilled to know not only how did someone feel about their product in total, but then the amounts of dice and slicing that they can do, because this is across the country. We have many brands who said to us, I can go into a store and I can sample and demo my product and I can get real live feedback, but that's in one location on one day, and to multiply that across the country is daunting for me. We can in one day get thousands of products in the hands of customers all across the country, get back the data, and then dice and slice it by any one of those demo, geo, psychographic criteria that we talked about. What we also like to do, though, is make sure that it's highly visualized data. Yeah, we can all use a CSV file, love something in Excel, data dumps, all those good things. But my favorite is when we can put it into pie charts and graphs and make it really easy to take this big data and understand it in snippets. As we're getting more complex in what's available, I think we're also getting simpler in how we want to digest information. So a couple of key takeaways I hope you have from this is that online reach is nationwide or worldwide, depending on how you've set yourself up. So whether it's solely what you do or it's a piece of your business, never forget your ability to access really rich data that you can dice and slice and merge in so many different ways from an online source as well as real time, so maximize those opportunities. Expand opportunities for customers to provide those insights and track them. For us, it was our trial program. It could be many different things for you, but think about everything that you're putting forth and you're spending your energies on as other ways that customers can share with you. Qualities, preferences, and trial for us have been core ones. Integrate that data and make it very visual. Big data can be daunting unless you really capitalize on how you can skinny it down. And recognize the value that these consumers' insights can have back to the brands. For us, we have two customers, the consumer as well as the brands, the way we see it, and many of you who bring in other companies' brands might have the same opportunity. How can you share that in a way that isn't giving away anything proprietary, but it's actually helping and expanding so that our industry can grow? Aid in product development certainly helps brands feel great, and it also helps the consumer feel their voice is heard, because at the end of the day, we're trying to get that single view of the customer. Let's use it, and let's let them know their voice is being recognized. So thank you very much, everybody.
Well done. Thank you. All right, who do we think eats crickets? Okay. Kim actually is the one who eats, and I probably didn't even...
An ice cream.
In ice cream? So apparently it's... Why don't you explain the cricket thing?
The cricket thing. Crickets are insects. Insects are an alternate form of protein. I don't know about the rest of you. Love my red meat, love my leafy greens, but when I can think about ancient grains and insect protein, and don't think about a big giant cricket, it's cricket flour, right? And now there's a bunch of bars made out using cricket flour. As long as you blend it in with cranberries or almonds, pretty good. Good stuff. You can.
So on our break, we'll be serving cricket bars, I guess. And so John, when he lived in San Francisco, he's the one that ate at every taqueria, and he now lives in Charlotte because of Lowe's, and he's making his way through the barbecue trail. And lastly, Sony, tell us about being hit by a bull.
8 or 9 years old in India. Didn't think he was going to hit me. Not going to lie to you.
Famous last words, right?
Yeah, right? But he came after me and then decided to go run with the bulls in Pamplona about 2 years ago, which was pretty exciting.
And we've got 2 Chicago natives, so great. Thanks very much, guys.